Hello again, and welcome to the next part of my virtual pet collection. Last one I covered Gigapets and Nanopets, and I'd like to state, just for the record, that most of these pets that you have seen and will see are replacements for things that I had thrown away probably in the late 90s or early 2000s. I had decided that I was too old for virtual pets, and I tossed them all away. But I'm going to start with 3 things that I actually did hold on to. So these are very special to me because they actually survived what I call the purge. So to start, I have the Pocket Pikachu. I even still have the instructions for this. The significance of the instructions, because at that time I wasn't really big on keeping instructions, was that it actually had the melody for dun 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 Poke Rap. It's for the Poke Rap. It has the melody for the beginning of the Poke Rap. So I wanted to keep that just for reference for myself for the future, and I'm glad that I did. This one was a standalone pet. I think it was just Nintendo's just response. It's a pedometer pet. So you would keep it on you, and you would earn Pikachu watts so you can give them to him, and you can also play the slot game. It was very simple, but just the since his emotions can change depending on how you're treating him, it always made him fun to play with. And then after that came the Pokemon Pikachu 2, which I'm noticing for the first time has pixel damage. That's really unfortunate. But this is my original one, so I'll never let it go, but I will have to pop in a battery to see if it's still working. I love this one because it was in color. It was very limited color, but it was in color nonetheless. And you could even send points to and from your gold and silver game via the infrared thing on top. So when Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, they wanted to bring back this type of technology here, but they decided to, I guess, simplify it. And so they called it the Pokewalker. Again, it can communicate via IR. It's right here. Send points back and forth, send Pokemon back and forth, so you can actually take not just Pikachu, but any Pokemon that you want out with you on a walk. So I thought that was really neat. This was only a couple years ago. This was like 2013. Okay, so just for the record, I did pop in a battery. So I wanted to see if it really was okay. It's a shame about that leakage, but at least he's fine. Yeah. So that's good. And then I'm going to lump it in here, even though I wouldn't really consider it a pet so much. This is called the Sea Watch. These were also big at the same time as these were. This one was a Squirtle. I actually did pop batteries in it to see if it still worked. Ash says some things, so there's some sound bites in here. And then there's Squirtle that says Squirtle, Squirtle. And I know that if you press some buttons, he will evolve, but it's just, he reverts back to normal. So I think it's just a theme. It's just a Pokemon theme. It's not really something you can raise. It was still nice, though. I actually thought I threw away the strap, but I didn't. I was very pleased. So the reason I kept all of that is because I was still then, and I am still now, into Pokemon, so I'm really glad that I decided to hold on to those. That makes me happy that I had the forethought to do that. Next, I have something called MGA Pets. These were, I guess, not quite as well known as the other two, but there were a lot of them, so it seems like that they were at least moderately successful. They're called the VR virtual reality creatures, and I really, really, really wish I knew about these as a kid. Like, when I was a kid, I would actually draw on paper my ideal virtual pet, and I was like, why in the world doesn't this exist? And it turns out it did. So I'll start with the dog. These came in multiple shells. There's the regular shells, and there's the flip-top shells like these. And then there's the kind that come in the plush. The way that these are different from like the Gigas and the Nanos is that these have multiple evolutions. And that was what I wanted as a kid. That was exactly what I wanted. Something that's like Tamagotchi, except with animals that I recognized. That's exactly what I wanted, and it does exist. And the maker is MGA. So there's a dog here. This one doesn't say MGA, but it definitely, and it's very confusing because that's Nano right there. But this is actually an MGA pet made by Radio Shack, of all people. So it's not like this at all. It's completely different. In fact, this is what it's like on the back right here. You can get 3 different types of cats. That's pretty much all it is. Radio Shack made a couple of MGA type things. There's also one called the Tata Pip Puppy Kitty Tay Tay. And that one actually is an official MGA thing, but I feel like they probably sold it at Radio Shack as well. I don't know, MGA is kind of strange with their product, but I am thankful that they exist at all. So next I have the Godzilla MGA Pet. It was released for the 1998 Godzilla movie, and if anybody is familiar with Nano, they'll notice that this looks incredibly similar to the Nano Dino. That's pretty much because that they ripped the programming. I don't know if maybe they had an agreement with Nano or what, but they took the Nano Dino and they put extra spines on them to make them look like Godzilla. It's still a fun pet to run. The shell is fabulous. It's marbled, like all the way through. They put a lot of effort into this pet, and I can appreciate it. I keep the packaging because it actually does have a KB toy sticker. And wow. I miss KB. I love this pet. This pet was really fun to run. I actually had this one before I had the Nano Dino, so if you can't get a hold of the Nano Dino, I would suggest this one. This one's really nice. So that is what is considered to be the unofficial Godzilla Pet, because there's debate whether or not they actually got permission to do any of this, since it is nano programming. And then we have what is officially known as the official Godzilla Pet, which means it isn't based after the 1998 movie, just the Godzilla franchise in general. You can ignore that for a second. This is what it looks like. That's the replacement Godzilla. It's got little paw prints all over it, and it's a solid black shell instead of anything marbled. It's got that sticker down here. Now, the point of this note right here, to remind myself, is that there was an issue with MGA. I'm not really sure what caused it, but they definitely did it on purpose, but I'm not entirely sure why. Is that there are two potential shells that this programming could be in. It could be in either the black shell or the green shell. And that's really confusing because it says T-Rex Dino on the shell. It's not always like this, because sometimes you'll get the black shell and have the Godzilla programming, but in my situation, I have the Godzilla shell with T-Rex programming. Very luckily, I had the T-Rex Dino, and I had discovered that it actually has Godzilla programming. So I still have both of them, but they've just been swapped. So this is the T-Rex Dino. You'll notice it looks very similar, and the difference being the sticker and the color. So I love this actual style of clam case. This one especially. It just clicks nicely and it's easy to open. This one I think is actually a lot harder to open. I like wrenching my fingers in there. It really hurts. Yeah, most of these I have in packages just because I noticed that it's easier to collect these particular things in package. At least with my luck so far. Next is the virtual reality mermaid. It's hard to find these for a good price, so I got very lucky. This one, I believe you raise a fish. Yes, you can potentially raise a fish, although I did see somebody actually did manage to raise a mermaid, so I guess that is one of the options. There are 3 different potential results you can get, and I guess one of them's a fish and one of them's a mermaid, and I'm not sure what the last one is. So I guess I could figure it out myself. This is the back. And I really like this type of clamshell, because it is a clamshell. And then I have this one here, which is the MGA bunny. And the bunny lives in a savanna, because it feels like it. This is actually the one that's got a really super long chain. It's because this is supposed to be attached to a plush. I actually don't have the plush, but I do have the bunny, and that's really all that matters. And then lastly, I have the penguin, who also has decided to live in a savanna. Only, see, if you notice the shape, this means, and the chain, that this comes with a plush, and yes, sure enough, it is attached to one. These are very large plush. These are, like, I would consider you about 6 inches tall. They're very cute, and they've got an actual pouch in the back, so you can slip it in. And then it's got some sort of, like, navel piercing here. And then if I wanted to, I could name it. This actually came mint in package, but the package itself, because the plush is so huge, the package was huge. So I actually had to remove it and get rid of the packaging, just because I couldn't accommodate for the space. That's it for the MGA series. I am missing one. I am missing the bear. I'm forever on the hunt for the bear. If anybody sees the bear, I would love to know about it so that I can complete my MGA collection. It's so close. Considering that the mermaid, the bunny, the penguin, and the bear were some of the later releases, so those are kind of harder to find. And I have 3 out of 4. I just need the bear. Honestly, and how cool is it that they even came out with a penguin and a bunny and a bear? How many different actual, like, creators have come out with stuff like that. I don't know any other bunnies. I know one other penguin, and I know one other bear. Nano came out with the bear. Good on you, MGA, and I wish I knew about you back in 1997. Next is a single one that I have. It's a Thinkway pet. It's for the Little Mermaid. So you get 4 different potential pets to get, but you don't choose it. So you get the baby, and it could evolve into any of these. It's supposed to be a really nice pet. It's got a really big screen with nice pixels in it. Thinkway made one other pet, I believe. They made one for Toy Story, and that's the one that's shaped like Buzz Lightyear's cardboard rocket ship. And it's kind of like a crane machine. And the way that works is that the crane comes down and chooses which pet you're going to raise. That's really cute. I think it's randomly generated here. You don't have it actually like the visual of a crane or anything like that. But it's the same idea. Thinkway makes nice pets. It's such a cute shell. There are several different colors for the shell. There's a solid light purple, which is supposed to be like the same color as your like bra clams. There's a transparent purple, a transparent pink, and I think there's one other color. And this was actually important for the time period because it actually comes with the pause function. A lot of these don't come with a pause function. And also it actually remembered the things that you had done in the past. Same thing with the other Toy Story one. A nap function, I guess it like dictates like how long, you can tell it like how long you usually sleep or something like that. But this is really cool, and I'm really glad to have this here. And then last for this video, I'm going to cover something that was also very popular in America, although I will admit that mostly I have Japanese versions of them. I was going to save Japanese for another video, but I think that this is so like America mainstream that I'm still going to throw it in here. So what I'm talking about, and what you probably have already thought about, is that it's Digimon. These were released as the Tamagotchi for boys. It was still made by Bandai, and I believe it even mentions on the original packaging, it says Tamagotchi Digital Monsters Digimon, something like that. So the gimmick here was that you were able to actually connect them and battle. I thought that was pretty neat. This one's the American version. It's a V1. And from there I have the Japanese V1. This one's actually unique in that it looks like the original owner Frankenstein's another pet to make a new back, so I think that's really fun. You can tell these are both V1 because of the background. Then I've got a Japanese V2, got a V4, and the differences between these is that the character roster is all different, but they're still all compatible with each other, and the only difference between these two is that this has English menus and this one doesn't. So after the original series came the pendulum. They had a different shape. This is the 1.5, you can tell that because it's clear. And this is actually a pendulum. You can barely hear it, but it actually does click. And so it has different characters and I think bigger sprites. I don't recall if it probably was released in English somewhere, but the English versions always seem to cost so much more. And I got these 4 here as a lot. So that's why most of these are in Japanese. Those are my Digimon. And I think that's enough for this video. And so in the next one, I'll cover more virtual pets that I have. Thanks. Bye.